Alright, so in this video, we are going to react to the games that took place in week 5.
Yep. But first of all, I'd like to thank Cam Smith with
Thank you, Cam.
I actually talked to him this week about you.
Let's go, baby.
So he's actually in the near future going to be on the show. He's got some things, important things to tell y'all about. But thank you, Cam, with the Great American Senior Benefits. We appreciate it. The insurance company. Make sure you go see him with all your insurance needs. Also, the Just Jesus Radio Network, as he informed me this week, it's not network radio, it's radio network.
Hey, good correction there.
Good correction. So, yeah, all your gospel preaching, gospel singing, our boy Dave is on it.
Shout out, Dave.
At 8:30 on Saturday mornings. Go give him a listen.
Yes, sir.
So, all right, let's dive into this, boys. Week 5, another great week, another exciting week, another week of upsets.
Tell the people what we did last week.
So what me and Dave did, and John has
Sort of
50% did. And comment if you've done this, because I don't think that you have, but you might have. What me and Dave did, we decided to go to the Georgia game.
As I said in game day, that if I could get off, I was going.
Yeah. So we got off, or David got off. We went to the Georgia-Arkansas game on Saturday morning at 12, which we'll get into that game in just a few moments. So that game's over, 3:30. On the way back from Athens, we are driving back home, and we passed the Clemson exit. And I was like, and it was right at probably 4:30, and I was like, there's the Clemson exit. Surprised there's not any.
5.
No, it was like 4 because we got home at 5.
That's fine.
So because we told John to be there. Yeah.
That's true.
I don't anyway, so we passed, and I was like, there's the Clemson exit. Surprised there's not any more traffic. And he said, what time does the game start? I was like, 7:30. He's like, you want to go? And I was like, now. Remember, we had just got up at like 6 o'clock and left. So we called John. We find tickets.
I was literally walking into the deer stand.
Yeah, John meets us at my house. We literally pull my driveway. I change clothes, get back in my truck, drive to Clemson, and we go to the Clemson game. And then we get back at like
midnight,
12:30.
Yeah. So at least both our teams won.
Yeah, went to two top 25 college football team games in the same day.
And the one team looked very dominant. Obviously, that being the Tigers. And
yeah.
I'm willing to bet that's a first.
Yeah, but let's go ahead and dive into which one you want to hit first.
Let's talk about
Georgia, Arkansas.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and hit
that was a first game kickoff.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, y'all have the first-hand experience.
Yeah, and I'll say my first experience in Athens, even though I'm not a Georgia fan, was a good experience. Great crowd, hype game. Arkansas came out, probably thought they had something going, and literally got punched in the mouth and never recovered. Georgia was dominant from the first second all the way to the last second.
The only time I ever saw Arkansas do anything, it got called back.
Yeah. I'll tell you real quick from my experience, since y'all were at the game, and I was on the couch. After the first half, I stopped watching it because it was just utter domination. I was like, I'll just watch Wisconsin and Michigan. Yeah,
I literally didn't even feel like it did in the first. But it didn't even feel like it was a top 10 matchup because of how much Georgia Arkansas didn't even seem like they ought to even be on the same field with Georgia.
Yeah, they took the life out of Arkansas.
Literally, I mean those first two false starts right off the bat for Arkansas, the crowd's pumped up. It's insane. You can't even hear yourself even think. Can't imagine being at midfield and hearing 95,000 fans
that'd be sick,
screaming at you. But yeah, Georgia did what Georgia has been doing all year. Looked great. Dominant, and definitely really made a statement. Statement win,
no doubt. And we can't really talk about the offense because you didn't have JT.
Right, and that's without
still
JT.
37 points.
Yeah. Or 30 offensive points.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
Without JT, we can talk about the offensive line and the run game looked good.
Yeah.
Other than that, the pass game we can't even really discuss. We threw 11 passes.
Yeah.
Probably 5 or 6 of those.
James Cook looked good.
Yeah, James Cook looked good. Really, every running back, but James Cook stood out.
Yeah.
Stood out, and he has all year. He looks like the best back at Georgia right now. And that defense is gonna continue to do what they're doing.
Oh yeah, it's genuinely generational.
Yeah, and that's what me and Dave were talking about.
I don't want to waste it.
It wasn't even like Arkansas even had opportunities to score. They had that one possession where they got inside of field goal range and missed the field goal. But it wasn't like they had it at the 20 and needed points and went for it on fourth down or at the goal line and went for it on fourth down. Like I think they may have crossed midfield like once or twice. And like I said, it was insane.
No, it is.
They and it seemed like they got to the end of the game, especially like third and fourth quarter, and it was almost like they knew that they couldn't score, so they just were trying to run out the clock. To me, that's how it seems.
I mean, they put their backup in.
Yeah, they put their backup in the game
just to protect Jefferson.
Yeah, when you're losing the game. So definitely dominant win for Georgia. Made a statement. And then we'll transition and we'll hit that. Also, stay tuned for our video on Wednesday. We're going to hit more on that Georgia game and the dominance of Georgia. But let's transition into another team that had to make a statement after that game, which was Alabama.
Yeah, and definitely made a statement. I remember watching that game. Me and David, we picked Ole Miss. Probably went out a little bit too much on a limb, picking Ole Miss in that game for sure. Betting against Nick Saban for one.
Saban at home.
Yeah, for one, he's 23-0 against his assistants, and he's at Denny Bryant Stadium. But I really thought they had a chance. Like I really thought it was gonna be close. We saw it last year. Now, granted, it was at Ole Miss.
You said Denny Bryant.
That's not what it's at.
Pretty sure it's Bryant Denny.
It is Bryant Denny. Hey, good correction there.
Yes.
At Bryant Denny Stadium. But back to what I was saying.
That girl messaged you.
Yeah. But I thought they had a genuine chance. I really did. I thought they had a shot. And, I mean, watching that game, the very first drive, Ole Miss looked really good. And I think what got in the way is that against Alabama, you've got to be aggressive, 1,000%. But Lane Kiffin was way too aggressive. I mean, they genuinely left points on the board that they could have put up against Alabama. Aggressive. I mean, they went for it on fourth down 4 times on the opening drive.
Yeah.
And again, you have to be aggressive against Bama, no doubt. But he took it to another level that was too much. There's a difference
in aggressive and there's
and being stupid.
Well, I think you realize you can't beat Alabama kicking field goals.
But and that's true. But
you got to take points where
you can't beat Alabama going down.
And
21-0. Stalling out. If you're so worried about field goals, you need to convert on third. I promise you're not going to have success on fourth down against a Saban defense. Kirby Smart, one thing he preaches, risk are good if they are calculated risk. Risk are okay when they're smart risk. You don't just kind of go on a wing and a prayer and say, I hope we get this. If you see something, and like, all right, I see something here that we can exploit.
Right. Oh, big word.
Big word of the day
there. Big word. And we can exploit this, and I think we can convert. That was just, heck, I'm Lane Kiffin.
Oh, yeah.
I'm good. I'm good at offense. We're going to do it. And he was so cocky about it.
He was.
He sent Nick Saban a message earlier in the week saying, I've watched everything you do. I know what you can't stop.
I don't know if he was trying to get in Saban's head.
Right. It kind of reminds me, like I said, we've already talked about this, the Georgia game with that running back literally one of the players from Georgia put on his Instagram or Twitter or whatever.
Well, he was interviewed, and they said, they asked him, what is the mentality of this defense? And Nolan Smith said, nobody gets in our end zone.
Yeah, and then the guy goes and shares it and put laughy faces.
Well, and a lot of Arkansas fans
had 3 carries for 4 yards, by the way.
That's elite.
And they ran.
Elite
I don't know if they ran for like 30. If you take Jefferson away, I don't know if they ran for like 15.
Yeah.
But what else is the mentality supposed to be?
Right,
like,
I agree.
A lot of Arkansas fans are like, "Oh, y'all messed up by saying that." What is the mentality supposed to be like? Hey guys, come score.
Everybody scores on our defense.
Like, no.
Right.
He said, and no one said, I don't care if you're the Patriots. You don't score on us. And that's the mentality you have.
But Alabama definitely came out. I think, no doubt they kept up with that Georgia game prior and since Georgia made it, I think they came out and had to make a statement themselves.
Well, I mean, in a sense maybe, but they could have won by 3 points, and it wouldn't really mattered. But the thing is, it still was very impressive because that Ole Miss offense is legit.
They are.
And the fact that, they really didn't score till the end, Ole Miss. But to pivot to the Clemson game, obviously we all got to watch that one in person. Yep. And it's kind of the same old story that we've seen for the first 4 weeks is we've got a really good defense, and our offense is struggling. And as sad as it is to say, this is probably the best our offense has looked all year. There wasn't many 3-and-outs like it was, last week at Cincinnati State when it was like legit 7 3-and-outs in a row. We moved the ball, we just couldn't. Once we really got on in the opponent's territory, we really couldn't punch it in for a touchdown. But at least we moved the ball, so it has a step. And we saw Kobe Pace played a heck of a game, and Phil Maffa, another true freshman running back. He had a good showing for his first appearance.
Yeah, Clemson had over 400 yards of total offense, which is great for them. But here's the thing, and I was just talking to my dad before I got over here. Clemson is improving every week. I know we lost last week, we did, but we showed signs of life. In some
at the very end. But I will say in the NC State game,
well, even the second drive of the game, we looked good.
Well, yeah, but that was second drive.
You looked good.
Outside that was pretty bad.
State,
well, that's what I'm saying. But
trash.
To me, we didn't look good any against Georgia Tech. Then we looked a little bit good last week. We looked a little bit better this week. I think it's coming together slowly. I do. I'm definitely like I said, not bought in by any means that we're going to win the ACC or even, anything like that. But I think there is signs of life.
Yeah. Let's talk about the fact
especially if we can get healthy.
We
were without 2 starters on the offensive line. We're out Justin Ross. We're out Will Taylor.
Frank Latson
went out last night. Right. We're out Brian Brzee on the defense. We're out James Kowski is not 100%.
Yeah,
Tyler Davis is out. Balin Spector's played injured.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a lot of injuries.
I mean, Mario Goodrich was out last night as well. Fred Davis was out last night.
So
we're definitely hurting.
A lot of players stepped up. And Boston College is a good team. Boston College should have been ranked.
No, I agree.
I don't agree though, and this is just my own opinion. Count me if I'm wrong. With the rankings coming out today, I don't agree with Clemson dropping out of the top 25.
That's what I was going to say. Let's talk about that.
If you're 25th and you win, you should not drop. I don't care if you win by 1 point or if you win. I don't see.
I don't really agree with that either. I said before coming into this game, I was like, but also I don't even know if we're a top 25
right,
team.
and I agree with that.
Yeah, but I'm saying no. I definitely agree with you. I think we are a top 25 team. We definitely got all the potential in the world, and
trying to find the new rankings.
I just hope in this bye week we can get something figured out.
Well, they asked Dabo, with what's his number one goal for the bye week, and he said get healthy.
Yeah.
We've seen. I don't know if you've seen it. People watching. DJ, stayed after the game. DJ was out there working on his thing. But and I like that. But I agree with what you said. We've had all off season to do that. And here's my thing though. If DJ's going to be out there working, where's the receivers at?
Yeah.
Because he made a lot of good throws yesterday.
He did, but he did some.
He had some
throws.
He had some, but like the one for Ngata on the sideline over there, gotta be caught.
Catch that. Or the one to Justin Ross.
Justin Ross gotta catch that.
But
and with a quarterback that's not fully developed yet, and it still has the talent, but he's not hooking on all cylinders. Those senior receivers and those guys that are experienced have to make those catches for your quarterback.
100%. And I will say this: the most discouraging thing in that game is that not even in obvious rundowns. For the most part, Boston College for the majority of the game was daring us to throw. They were in a single high safety look all game long. They were leaving our 6'4", 6'5" wide receivers that are probably going to be playing in the NFL man-to-man. And majority of the time, our wide receivers were beating them off the line of scrimmage, and DJ was never looking their way. Now, whether that's obviously you have a certain play design. You're supposed to be looking at a specific guy at your primary read. But when you got a 6'4" guy on probably like a 5'11" corner, you got a single high safety, and he's beating them every single time, you've got to take deep shots. You've got to. And that was so discouraging to watch.
All right, so enough about Clemson. I want to talk about the disrespect to Michigan. Going into this week, they were ranked, like 15th?
I think 14th or 15th, yeah.
Okay, so they're 4-0, and they're ranked that. And they've been playing really good football.
Yeah.
They go in, they win this week. So now they're at 9th. Ranked above them is Oklahoma, Ohio State, Oregon. Not to mention Ohio State and Oregon have both dropped games. Cincinnati. And then I can agree with the other 4. I can even agree with Cincinnati.
I agree with Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't understand how, by any stretch of the imagination, Oklahoma's played better than Michigan.
They haven't.
Ohio State has played better than Michigan. Or Oregon has played better than Michigan.
And I agree with that. Now, Oregon does have that big win against Ohio State, but at the same time, they're both in the top.
Lost to a nobody.
Right. They're both in the top.
Right. Which, by the way, I seen that stat last night we were talking about. Stanford has now won 4 straight games over AP top 3 teams, the longest streak in FBS right now.
But which is pretty crazy. But shout out to Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati might be a legit playoff team.
I think
they've got the 2 Power 5 wins and.
Finally got it right, boys.
You did. You finally got it right.
After 4 weeks of picking against Notre Dame.
And not only that, not only do they have the Power 5 wins, the college football's kind of down a lot of the teams. I mean, there's going to be a lot of one-loss teams. So if they run the table and they're undefeated, I think Cincinnati's in this year. I really do.
Great game yesterday against Notre Dame.
No, absolutely.
And then, what about Iowa?
Iowa's looked so dominant, dude. They had that one little hiccup last week.
I'm going to continue to say this, though. It'll be interesting. Auburn is 18, so 2 versus 18 for Georgia. I'm still not bought in on Iowa. I'm just not.
Their defense is legit. Their defense is legit.
Their defense. I'm not saying their defense isn't good.
They had 6 interceptions against Maryland.
Yeah, but that's.
But yeah, they've been doing that all year though.
Yeah,
I forgot who they blow out week 1.
But what?
I don't
know. They weren't supposed to.
Talia has had those games.
No, he has.
I'm just not bought in because you can't convince me that every single weekend you can rely on your defense to cause 6 turnovers.
No, and I agree with that. I don't think they're a legit national championship contender whatsoever.
No.
But their defense, I mean, I can't remember who they played. It was either week 1 or week 2, and they blew them out. And it was supposed to be a close game, and it was Indiana.
Indiana,
Michael Penix,
Yeah.
4 interceptions. I mean, this is a defense.
Michael Penix hasn't exactly.
Nah, he hasn't.
Yeah, no. Then they went and blew out Iowa State.
Yeah, they blew out Iowa State, and I mean, their defense is as good as it gets in college football. I mean, they're not better than Georgia, but they're top 3. Absolutely.
No.
Yeah.
They have a good defense,
but their offense is not capable enough to win against a big team.
I think they have a good defense, but I'm simply saying there is a major gap between the likes of Georgia and Bama.
No, and I agree with that entirely.
And if Iowa played somebody tomorrow that can put points up, you can't convince me that if the offense comes against Iowa, protects the football, and plays good defense, that Iowa's not going to lose.
I'll tell you what, we're about to see that Saturday. They play Penn State.
Yeah,
this is going to be a heck of a game.
I'm just not bought in on Iowa, and if they win this weekend, they'll prove me wrong. Where's that game at?
It's Iowa.
Okay, so that'll be a big deal.
Absolutely.
Right. And if they win this weekend, they prove me wrong. And if that defense continues to do it. But I remember that Miami team a couple years ago, who they were in the same kind of boat. The offense wasn't all that good, but they were. I mean, it's like they caused turnovers, and then finally they had a couple games where they weren't causing those turnovers.
Yeah,
and they lose, and the season goes on. Yeah.
And then we'll end the show with talking about LSU.
Yeah, I want to talk about LSU just because I find it extremely intriguing.
Trash.
They just lose to Auburn.
Yep.
They lost to UCLA. They
should have won against Auburn. Played well.
Well, I mean, I want to say they should have won, but I'm
not either.
Okay, let me rephrase that. Had opportunities to win that game.
No, I mean, absolutely they did.
No, they definitely had a chance to win.
They lose to UCLA to start the season. Their wins are against McNeese State. You're supposed to win that game. Central Michigan's supposed to win that game. Mississippi State, who, if LSU didn't come out hot and Mississippi State didn't come out the gate slow, Mississippi State really closed that gap late. Almost had a chance to win it. Wins 28-25, so they're sitting 3-2. They got Kentucky next week.
That's a loss.
I'm not gonna say it's a loss, but
Kentucky's
it's a potential loss.
They'll beat Florida.
See, they got Florida, they got Ole Miss, they got Alabama, they got Arkansas, all in a row.
That's a tough.
That is a gauntlet. And let's say they beat.
That 5?
Yeah.
4 games, 5 games?
Let's say they beat Kentucky. I'm gonna say they beat Kentucky, dropped to 4-1 of those, so they go 1-1 right there. They lose to Ole Miss, lose to Bama, lose to Arkansas. You're telling me Ed Orgeron's not fired after this year if they end up going, 6-6.
They could lose all 5 of those
7-5.
games.
Yeah,
I agree.
They really could.
I think they go 1-4 and beat one of those teams. I think they beat Florida, and that's not just because I'm a Georgia fan that hates Florida. LSU always has Florida's number.
I'm telling you, and I mean, let me see where it's at.
And Florida's bottom.
It is in Death Valley. But I will say this: I mean, with the culture that Ed Orgeron's built, which has been a toxic culture, with kind of the things that are around his head.
Yeah.
Let's just say they go 7-5 this year, 6-6.
Yeah, after the season they had last year too.
I would not be surprised to see Ed Orgeron get fired.
Needs to be.
2 years after a natty.
And I'm not saying that in hate. I think Ed Orgeron's really cool, but I wouldn't want him to be my football coach.
I agree entirely.
But so that kind of wraps up our reaction to week 5. Let us know what you think about our reaction to the games. Like I said, another great week. College football has been crazy this year so far.
It's been one of the funnest seasons, in a sense, but for me, it's been a terrible season.
Right, but like I said, I still have a little bit of hope, a little bit of life after this week. So.
I mean, hopefully we can go 10-2 and make the Cinnamon Toast Crunch Bowl or something like that.
Yeah, maybe. My goal really this year, honestly, is to beat Carolina.
Win the ACC.
Beat Carolina, win the ACC championship.
Appreciate you watching, and catch you next time.
Yep.